Hello, fuzzies. Damaron the Arctic Wolf here. It is Friday evening, about 20 after 10, and I am pleasantly drunk. I've been drinking scotch, and after I finished the bottle of scotch, I started cracking into this. And, well, anyway, tonight, regardless of what you may be feeling or thinking, I felt like I should share with you something that could potentially help you with your thoughts and your feelings and things that you might have on the inside that you want to express on the outside, or decisions that you've been trying to come up with in your own mind about what you should do with your life. And this little story comes from a past relationship of mine, and it means a lot to me, so I thought maybe it would mean a lot to you if I shared it. Now, this is going to be a bit of a reading, so take it for what it's worth, and I will do my best to express this vocally and somatically to you so that you can understand. Here we go. Everybody wants to feel good. Everyone wants to live a life that's carefree, happy, and easy. To fall in love and have amazing sex and relationships, to look perfect and make money and be popular and well respected and admired. A total baller to the point that people part like the Red Sea when you walk into a room. Everyone would like that, and it's easy to like that. If I ask you, what do you want out of life? And you say something like, I want to be happy, and I have a great family and a job, and I like, it's ubiquitous, and it doesn't really mean anything. A more interesting question, a question that perhaps you've never considered before, is what pain do you want to have in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? Because that means, or seems to be, a greater determinant of how our lives turn out. Everybody wants to have an amazing job and financial independence, but not everyone wants to suffer through the hours of work, long commutes, obnoxious paperwork, to navigate arbitrary corporate hierarchies and the blaze of confines, an infinite cubicle of hell. People want to be rich without the risk, without the sacrifice, and without the delayed gratification necessary to accumulate wealth. Everybody wants to have a great sex and an awesome relationship, but not everybody is willing to go through the tough conversations, the awkward silences, and the hurt feelings, and the emotional paychecks or psychodramas to get there. And so they settle. They settle and they wonder, what if? For years and years, until the question morphs from what if into was that it? And then when the lawyers go home and the alimony checks have been sent in the mail, they say, what was all that for? If not for the lowered standards and expectations 20 years prior, and then what for? Because happiness requires struggle, and the positive side effects of handling the negatives. I repeat that, the negatives. You can only avoid the negative experiences for so long before they come roaring back to life. At the core of all human behavior, our needs are more or less similar in every human being. Positive experiences are easy to handle. It's the negative experiences that we all, by definition, struggle with as human beings. Therefore, what we get out of life is not determined by the good feelings that we desire, but by the bad feelings that we are willing to and able to sustain and get us through to those good feelings that we have in our lives. People want an amazing physique, and you don't end up getting there unless you're willing to spend hours at the gym and then present a legitimate appreciation for the pain and physical stress that comes with living inside a gym for hour upon hour of the day. Unless you love calculating and calibrating the foods that you would eat each day, and you're willing to sustain and be able to get on with these good feelings that you have from eating foods every day. People want to start their own businesses or become financially independent, but you don't end up being a successful entrepreneur unless you find a way to appreciate the risks and the uncertainties, the repeated failures, and the working insane hours on something that you have no idea whether or not it will be a success for you or not. People want a partner, a spouse, but you don't end up with attracting someone amazing into your life without appreciating the emotional turbulences that comes with weathering rejections and building sexual tensions that never get released, staring blankly at your phone all day and wondering why it never rings or your texts never get answered. It's part of the game that we call love. And you can't win at the game of love unless, folks, you take the time to play that game that is called love. Let's see. What determines your success isn't what do you want to enjoy out of life. The question is, what pains? What pains are you willing to sustain? The quality of your life is not determined by the quality of your positive experiences, but the quality of your negative experiences. And to get good at dealing with negative experiences is to get good at dealing with these things that we call life every day. There's a lot of crappy advice out there that says you just have to want things enough. Everybody wants something in their lives, and everybody wants something enough. They aren't aware of what it is that they really want, or rather, what they want enough. Because if you want the benefits of something in your life, you have to also want the costs. If you want the beach body, you have to want the sweat, the soreness, the early mornings, the hunger pangs. If you want the yacht, you have to also want the late nights, the risky business moves, and the possibility of pissing off a person or even 10,000s of people. You do what you do and you say what you want to say, with or without the regards of anybody else. If you find yourself wanting something month after month and year after year, yet nothing happens, and you never come any closer to it, then maybe what you actually want is a fantasy, an idealization, an image, and a false promise. A promise that you've made to yourself, and maybe what you want isn't what you really want. You just enjoy wanting something, and maybe you don't actually want it at all. The things that you want in your life are things that you don't really want for yourself. Sometimes I ask people, and this is actually true, since I have been through my relationship in the last 4 years, I ask this: how do you choose to suffer? And these people will tilt their heads and they look at me as if I have 12 noses. But I ask because this question tells me far more about you and your desires and fantasies, because you have to choose something, and you can't have a pain-free life, and it can't be all roses and unicorns. And ultimately, that's the hard question that matters. Pleasures is an easy question, and pretty much all of us have similar answers. The more interesting question is the pain. What is the pain that you are willing to sustain to achieve the wants in your life? That answer will actually get you somewhere. It's the question that can change your life. It's what makes me, me, and you, you. It's what defines us and separates us and ultimately brings us all together. For most of my adolescence, and bear in mind, this is not my personal story. I am just living my own life as I see fit. But this is a story that's by a person that I am reading off of. For most of my adolescence and young adulthood, I fantasized about being a musician, a rock star in particular. Any badass, a guitar song I had heard, I would always close my eyes and envision myself up on the stage playing to the screams of the crowd, people absolutely losing their minds to my sweet finger noodling. This fantasy could keep me occupied for hours upon hours. The fantasizing continued up through college, even after I dropped out of music school and stopped playing seriously. But even then, it was never a question of if I'd ever be up to playing in front of screaming crowds, but when. I was biding my time before I could invent the proper amount of time and effort into getting out there and making it work. First, I needed to finish school. Then, I needed to make money. Then, I needed to find the time. Then, and then nothing. Nothing. Despite fantasizing about this for over half of my life, the reality never came. And it took me a long time and a lot of negative experiences to finally figure out why I didn't actually want this dream. I was in love with the results, the image of me being on stage, people cheering, me rocking out and pouring my heart into what I'm playing, but I wasn't in love with the process. And because of that, I failed at it and I failed repeatedly. Hell, I didn't even try hard enough to fail at all. I hardly tried at all to succeed at this dream. The daily drudgery of practicing, the logistics of finding a group and rehearsing, the pain of finding gigs and actually getting people to show up and give a damn. The broken strings, the blown tube amps, hauling 40 pounds of gear to and from rehearsals with no car. It's a mountain of a dream and a mile-high climb to the top. And what it took me a long time to discover is that I didn't like to climb very much. I just liked imagining myself at the top. People every day struggle with the results versus the struggle it takes to get to where you're going. So I continue. Our culture, and this is the American culture, would tell me that I have somehow failed myself, that I am a quitter and a loser. Self-help would say that I either wasn't courageous enough, determined enough, or I didn't believe in myself enough. The entrepreneurship or the startup crowds would tell me that I chickened out on my dreams and I gave in to conventional social conditioning, and that I had been told to do affirmations or join a mastermind group or manifesto or something. But the real truth is far less interesting than that I thought. I wanted something, but it turns out that I didn't really want what I dreamed for. End of story. I wanted the rewards and not the struggle. I wanted the results, but I didn't want to struggle through the process of getting there. I was in love not with the fight, but only with the victory at the finish line. And life, my friends, life does not work that way. Who are you is defined by the values you are willing to struggle for. People who enjoy the struggles of a gym are the ones who get in good shape. People who enjoy long work weeks and the politics of the corporate ladder are the ones who move up it. And people who enjoy the stresses and uncertainty of the starving artist and that lifestyle are ultimately the ones who live and make it as artists. This is not a call of willpower or grit. This is not another admonishment for no pain and no gain. This is the most simple and basic component of life. Our struggles as human beings determine our successes. So choose your struggles wisely and live your life. Live your life the best that you can, because truly on this earth you only have a date that you were born and the date that you die. What you have is that little dash that is between two dates. Whether or not you believe if there is life after death, or you have faith in what is your religion, what you have is what is on this earth now in this moment. Make the most out of the life that you have. Love deeply, have passion on day to day. Any time that is wasted and that you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. It's okay to sit and contemplate. It is okay to grieve and take as much time as you need to grieve, my friends, because This is the life that we have. Many may not make it. Some choose to end their life. They see a brighter future through that of the noose that they peer through. But what is really true is that is a final solution to a temporary problem. As long as you draw breath, you have the choice every day to change your life and to live it according to what makes you happy. Nobody else can make you happy. People can make you smile. They can make you feel sad. They can make you feel angry. But you ultimately have the choice on how to live your life. Live it the best that you can. Love deeply. Love passionately. Love your neighbors. Bite your tongue when you have anger. Have discipline and cope with those inner turmoils and just share passion along the world and with those that you meet. Be a light to everyone around you. Share love as deeply as you can, for it may make a difference in those that are around you. I am Damaron the Arctic Wolf. May you have a good night and a happy Halloween. Love you all. Good night.